Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
There you go.
Yeah. Not just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
And we're back. Episode 5. Welcome to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
Hey, I'm Joel.
That's Joel.
Yep.
He's excited.
Man,
He's got the energy.
it's up here. It's up there.
Up there.
I'm amped.
He's amped.
Yeah,
You can tell by how he said amped that he is amped.
I'm amped.
So what's up? What's going on?
Oh, dude, everything is so good.
We actually have a lot to talk about.
We do?
We do.
All right.
A lot of stuff been going on.
Let's just get right into it.
There was let's just get into the very weird comedy show that...
I forgot. I didn't forget you were there, but like I've talked about that. Oh my god.
Because I've been looking forward to talking about this.
What the fuck was that?
Since it happened.
I want to thank you for coming and being the only person to come, like voluntarily.
I'm not sure if those people got their money back, but if not, like I funded that show.
I hope they didn't, because fuck them.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they got their money back or not.
I don't think they did, but
so
I didn't get paid. I made sure Jacob and Stephanie got paid, but I told Morgan, I was like, I don't want paid for what just happened.
for the
Like I would feel dirty. Like that'd be like just getting fucked, and then someone just like, you know, like here's $1. Like, you know, like no amount of money would have made what went on like worth it to me. Like it was soul crushing.
So Friday night, Joel had a comedy show downtown.
Yep.
There's a play. It's the Secrets of Nevermore or
Knights of Nevermore. Yeah, it's a place called Portico.
Portico is
It's a new spot downtown. It's a cool building. I mean,
really
it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Potential was not there Friday, but
yeah, it's downtown where we live. And I kind of, they're going to have like that same Nevermore theme, like the Gothic, like Edgar Allan Poe.
Because she has all that, yeah. Because all that stuff in there was hers, and she was really into it. And they're going to try to keep a year-round haunted house kind of deal, you know, but like make it for the season. So it'll be like a Thanksgiving haunted house, and then like maybe a Valentine. That's what she was thinking anyway.
Okay. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Like you go in, and there's like a whole back room area with like a bunch of animatronics.
Yeah.
So it was Halloween. It was very horror related.
The stage looked great.
Stage looked awesome. Had an awesome backdrop. They were doing like palm readings.
Yep.
Hand readings.
Hand readings.
Palm readings in the back. Yeah, it was a cool setup. I liked it. It was very neat looking.
Yeah.
And you said there was like some, we'll say lack of communication or miscommunication.
Yeah.
Like advertising.
I think we all dropped the ball. I made the flyer, but I didn't print any. I didn't put any up. You know, like I was approached to do the comedy at the show, so I made the flyer, and I kind of they're affiliated with the Actors Guild, so I just thought like I don't know, they would like really, you know, promote it. They would, you know,
especially with it being a new venue.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I don't think there was very much promotion, and like I tried on Facebook, but that was it. I didn't put flyers up. You came, and then like basically we were out in the street like yelling comedy, come watch comedy. Right. And I was ready to cancel. I was just ready, like, we don't need to do this.
Unfortunately, downtown isn't like bustling with people. We don't live in an area where downtown is.
Yeah, you said one person come by every 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and usually that person is not in the best.
They're in a different world.
Condition.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I love you, buddy, but I wasn't going to do a show for just you.
I expected it. I wanted all of the attention and focus on me for the comedy show. But yeah, so right about the time the show starts, 4 people walk in.
They came in just wanting because they knew Morgan. So I heard her say, we don't want to stay, but we want to donate money to help support you. And Morgan talked them into staying.
Oh, okay.
Which is not a good comedy audience. The audience that has to be talked into being staying. I didn't know that part. Yeah. Because they were like walking around the building, and I was like, well, can you have them like come sit up front at least? So it seems like I should have just left them in the back where they were wanting to sit.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, so they didn't want to be there for that, but they felt bad, I guess, so they stayed.
So I'm gonna kind of do this from my perspective.
Okay.
So you get up, you're the host, so but you still do like 10.
I did like 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
So just at one point during your set, again, only those 4 people.
Yep.
And then
Jacob Hall and his wife was here.
His wife
the headliner.
Off to one side.
Yep.
And then
you were sitting with Stephanie and her friend.
And her person.
The other comedian Stephanie and the person she brought.
And then the lady that does the palm readings.
Yep.
And another
Carol
lady.
was there, and the guy running the whatever kind of food was there.
So there's 2, 4, 8, 10.
Yeah, so total, I mean,
about 15 people of an audience, kind of.
In a room that can hold about 500 probably.
Yes. So we're sitting there, and you're doing your set, and then all of a sudden, one of the girls that are with the 4 people gets up, and just, I don't know if she.
And that stage is like waist high, and she just like hopped right up on it.
Jumps up on stage with you. I don't know if she says anything to you, but she kisses you.
She goes, "I'm going to hug you."
I'm going to hug you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Huh?"
She kisses you.
She kissed me on my cheek. Yep.
Okay, and then.
And I tried to, normally like 2 years ago, that probably would have froze me right there in my tracks. But I made a joke about how we were married now, and that's the most action I've had in years. And
so I realized once she does that and sits back down, I realized I used to work with that girl. At a place I used to work, and she's like, from what I can remember, super laid back, hippie.
She seemed
chick.
like it. She had a toboggan on inside. That's hippie shit.
And she was, I think, with the other girl.
Yeah.
Then I think the 2 guys were together.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
I think that's what it was.
Well, so the one guy.
Well, it turns out they were playing Spin the Bottle, too. I don't know if you caught that.
And that's why you got.
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck just happened? They're like, oh, we're playing Spin the Bottle. And I was like, during the comedy show, you're playing Spin. Okay, cool.
So one of the guys is like heckling.
Yeah.
Which, not like heckling in a packed show. Is already an annoying thing, but like at least you hope that you can just go ahead and be like, all right, well I get to target you now, and the whole crowd's gonna laugh at you.
Yeah.
But when there's only one real table of people that you don't know, and one of them's heckling you, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So
and like I kept wanting to talk to them because they were the only like table of like people that hadn't seen my jokes. Yeah. Pretty much.
So you get heckled.
He called one of my jokes racist.
Yeah, which it wasn't racist.
No, it wasn't.
Like
at all.
Just because you said
I said the word Asian. Yeah. So that made it racist.
Just because that's not racism. Just because you said the word
these people
Asian.
are wanting to be like,
oh dude,
they're wanting to be offended, I think, right off the bat.
You can just look at them and tell that they are like the upper middle class. They seem just white, annoying fucking people. Just they
the worst.
Live to be offended.
Yeah.
Live for it.
They're offended if they're not offended.
And if so, like I said, I think the 2 guys are together, the 2 girls are together. So I am sure, coming up through their life and their experience they've had, I am sure they have faced actual bigotry and whatever. But that does not mean everybody in the world is out to offend them and try to demean them.
I was trying to use my bad jokes to, lighten their mood.
And you said the word Asian.
Yep.
And that was racist. So whatever. So you...
And, I had to defend myself on stage, too, because she was like, that's racist. And I was like, skirt. I was like, how is that racist?
Yeah. Well, so then Stephanie goes up.
Yep.
And Stephanie's got a bit where she's talking about... Like, she's kind of going through her past, her recent dating history. And they're heckling her the whole time, too.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time. They're heckling. The one guy is heckling her.
Yeah.
And being a dick. Like, not even like I guess there's like...
Just he thinks he was superior to all of us and just...
Yeah. I mean, he had no hair, but the little bit that he did was kind of frosted.
Yeah.
And he had one of those puffy vests on.
Yeah.
So he was clearly better than everybody else.
Yeah, clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
And some people, they can't watch other people talk. They or they can't sit there and listen to other people talk. They have to inject themselves.
Yeah.
Because they'll disappear if not. They have to make sure that everyone knows that they're there.
He seemed awesome.
Yeah.
so Stephanie does the bit about her recent relationships, and she like kind of, the way she's kind of wrapping it up is how she ended up with a girl.
She woke up the next morning with the girl in her bed.
And bad, like something.
The whole thing left a bad taste in her mouth.
Yeah.
Double entendre. So, like, just getting too drunk, and then she woke up with a girl in bed, so she probably went down on her.
So we hear, now it's gay jokes.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. We're out. And they all get up and go to leave, and the one girl, the girl that I don't know, comes back.
They're like camped out the door first. Like the guy standing there just like trying to look like a badass at the door or something, It's like, just fucking go, dude. Like,
but the one girl comes back and goes, by the way, lesbians taste great.
No, she said, lesbians don't taste bad.
Like, that's not what the joke was.
Yeah, like, no, like,
you
people,
fucking dunce.
People taste bad, okay? Like, lesbians are
you
people.
Fucking idiot.
And people can be sweaty, and they can be, like, just gross and moist.
But also, it's the one person in the joke.
Yeah.
That Stephanie was saying.
Yeah.
Was
she didn't say all lesbians.
Was making the joke about. Like, it's not like she was, But, yeah.
But she was, like, almost crying because of it.
Yeah. They were so offended.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to spend a day with them to see just how hard their lives are. Like, but so it was, and then like you said, the one guy just stands there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know if he was like, thought he was being intimidating.
He wasn't.
Like, until he tried to like actually step up on stage.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, you're not doing anything to anyone here, bud. Like,
it was, and then, so they left, and, Stephanie got through her set, but Jacob was really funny. So that was one good, thing about the night was, of course, Jacob Hall is always funny, but
just what a random, just people like you said.
And that's one of my favorite things to say now. Lesbians don't taste bad.
Like that's oh my god. Like, imagine if you're if you're a comedian that actually tells like what is like offensive material.
Yeah.
Imagine the shit
like Dave Chappelle with trans people. Like, I mean, that's okay. Like, constantly. People get mad about. I think that's what it is. Just now, that's out in the public that like if a comedian says something that you don't like, and I'm not saying Dave Chappelle is right or wrong or whatever. Like I would never do bits about trans people and stuff because I don't know. It's not me. But every comedian is different. I think, some of his stuff is funny, and I can see where some of it could be taken the wrong way. But now it's just, you don't agree with what somebody said, so they're wrong, and you have a right to tell them they're wrong. And, like, not just leave. If you don't like it, just leave.
Right. Like, I don't know how you go through your day wanting to be offended. Yeah. I don't understand that.
And one of the people from our group, we were talking about it afterwards, and she's like, she clearly has a stinky coochie. And I said, hey, if the shoe fits, wash that motherfucker. Wash it. Douche it. Whatever you got to do.
Douche it. Yeah, like she was definitely projecting, I think. So, those people aren't listening to this, but I really wish they were.
I did talk about the podcast, and maybe they are. Maybe like, you know what? I'm going to give this guy another chance.
Oh, maybe. I don't think that's what's...
Well, then I gave the girl one of my Juicy Pea stickers, and I just found it out on the sidewalk after the show. And that, I think...
Well, that's what hurts.
I haven't recovered from that.
I think that hurts more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like, she was all excited about it, talking about where she's going to put her Juicy Pea sticker. Like, I heard her talking about it. And then she just...
Yeah, like, I can't believe, like,
have thick skin. Like, how many jokes are there about, like, which I guess we deserve, but, like, fat white dudes or, just, like, white dudes in general.
Yeah.
And it's like, it wasn't even, like, aimed at... And Stephanie's bisexual, so why can't she joke about it?
Right.
Comedy!
I can't imagine that girl is hanging out with... Like, I don't know how she's hanging out with those people. Because,
yeah,
like
she didn't.
She was...
The girl that came up on stage, even though that was wildly inappropriate to come up on stage and hug and kiss me... Yeah, like, she does seem like she might be fun at a party. No, she just came up and she's like, I'm going to hug you.
And then she
approached me like I was a grizzly bear.
So I feel like...
she was like moving real slow so not to startle me. She's like, I'm going to hug you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like, that was unneeded.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was a blow to the old ego.
But, hey, that's what happens, man. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, at least we got that story.
Makes for a good story.
Yep, and lesbians don't taste bad.
And, lesbians
I should have been like, prove it!
And that would have went over well.
Like, are you cannibal? Like, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was an interesting experience. I think, though, like... It seems like most shows I go to you with, there ends up being some asshole from the crowd. And I don't know if that's a normal experience for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's always a... Yeah, I was definitely like... Because that was like an entitled asshole. Like, some people are just assholes because, like I said, they can't stand to not talk for, like, that long a time. You know, they can't just sit there and listen for that long. Their brain, like, their little lizard brain just, like, you know, like, starts, like, sounding off alarms, and they gotta talk. They gotta, like, inject themselves.
Now, what I would love to be able to do, if I had one wish, it would be to go ahead and listen to how those people tell this story.
Oh, yeah.
From their perspective.
They're victimized.
I would
just
love to
as
hear.
Fuck.
I kept kind of looking online to like.
Oh yeah, I thought about that. I wonder if someone's gonna post something
I kept
online
going
about
on Facebook
it.
and kind of like searching for like the venue's name.
Because like the next night they had a drag show. So like, oh, they're a drag show, but they hate gays.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, man. Like, we like jokes.
You don't know if they ever talked to.
I haven't talked to
what's her
anybody.
name?
I tried to distance myself immediately. I left that night and I was like, I don't want to think about this ever again.
Well, I'm glad I can bring it
Yeah,
up.
I'm glad you brought it up.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Well, in happier news,
Okay.
I have a story. I have a news story.
All right.
And have you ever seen the movie Taken?
Taken 1,
with,
Taken 2, or Taken 3?
The first. I've only seen the first one.
Okay, I've seen all 3.
Okay, well,
So, yeah.
you are an aficionado.
I am.
So
And then I seen the one where it was taken in the snow.
yeah.
It has a different name, but it was basically like, what if we had taken, but he was in the snow? And Liam Neeson's like, I don't know. They're like, we'll give you $50 million. He's like, give me back my daughter.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So this was just posted. What's today? Today's the 3rd. So this was posted yesterday, the 2nd. Headline: Father accused of killing daughter's boyfriend for allegedly selling her to sex trafficking ring.
Okay. Well,
That's the premise of Taken, right?
So far I'm on the dad's side.
So this is out of Spokane, Washington. Officers arrested a man accused of killing his daughter's boyfriend and leaving his body in the trunk of a car, according to the Spokane Police
Well, what are you
Department.
supposed to do with a body?
Got me. Beats me. Police say John Eisenman, age 60, learned in October 2020 that his daughter's boyfriend may have been responsible for allegedly selling her to a sex trafficking organization. Eisenman was able to rescue his daughter. This is where it gave me the real Taken vibes. Like, he rescued his daughter and got her back to the
He has a certain set of skills.
He has a certain... It doesn't really say how he did it.
Okay.
Which I'd like to know more in depth of what he did to rescue her. According to police, Eisenman confronted his daughter's 19-year-old boyfriend in November of 2020, tied him up, and put him in the trunk of a car. Police say he hit the man on the head with a cinder block and stabbed him repeatedly, causing his death.
I don't do it.
Eisenman is accused of abandoning the vehicle with the body still inside in a remote area. The car stayed in that location until someone moved it in October 2021.
Damn, almost a year later.
A different place.
The smell of that car.
Oh, man. So then some people found the car, were rummaging through it, took things from the car, and called police to report a foul odor coming from the trunk. Responding officers were able to verify the human remains, and then Eisenman was arrested and charged with first-degree murder in connection to this case. So, yeah, some real Taken shit there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going to work out for him quite the way it did for Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
I feel like Liam Neeson got off with...
Well, now he's got to keep an eye on his wife, because his wife is next if it goes by the Taken.
Oh, okay.
The wife gets taken in the second one, and she killed.
But I don't think Liam Neeson's character goes to prison.
No.
I'm pretty sure this guy's going to prison.
Oh, yeah, that guy's
So
going
if his
to
wife
prison.
gets taken next...
So is his girlfriend, is his daughter missing then? Is his daughter
rescued her.
Oh, you rescued her. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's good.
And then he found the guy that allegedly sold her to a sex trafficking organization and murdered.
I mean, the daughter would probably know who sold her into it, so she probably told Daddy.
Yeah, so really, I'd like to know more of the details. Like, was she actually in a sex trafficking organization?
Or did she just like the fun?
Did she just, was the guy a piece of shit? And she was like, hey, by the way, he did this, and you should, beat him up for me. And the guy's like a cinder block to the head.
Yeah.
Stab, stab, stab.
Or just scare him.
I feel like cinder block to the head did the work for you.
I think that,
I don't think you needed the stabbing.
No.
I think cinder block to the head and
Well, the stabbing is the
trunk.
emotional part of it.
That's a good point.
That's where,
yeah.
probably all the months of worrying about
The
his
rage.
daughter. Yep, the rage.
Or his particular set of skills is just cinder block to the head.
stabbing.
Stab, stab, stab. He doesn't have a wide array of skills.
But there's certain.
Just two. He's real good at them.
Cinder block stab. It's a combo.
It's not a bad combo, really.
It works in Street Fighter.
God, to be hit in the head with a fucking cinder block.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would want you to stab me afterwards. Like, just fucking kill me now, because
the headache that I have.
Right
Distract me from that.
Like, I'm real woozy.
Fill me with holes.
So yeah, I wanted to go over a couple things related to the podcast. I found out. So I don't know how many of you guys out there. I don't think very many of you, but I think a couple listen to us on Spotify. But now that Anchor is a part of Spotify,
Anchor, that's what we're on.
That's what we're on.
Yeah,
because they are now technically Anchor by Spotify.
Oh, I haven't received my check for that yet.
I haven't either.
Come on, Anchor.
They let us add questions to each episode. They let us do like an overall episode, like episode specific questions.
So can you put like, is Joel a good boy?
Yeah, I can do that this episode.
Do that.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
If you please tell me I'm good. Please.
Well, I'll just make but
I need it so bad.
So along with the Q&A,
uh-huh.
We can also do an episode poll. We can do both. So I'll put on there as Joel a good boy,
okay.
And then the only options will be yes and yes.
Yes.
So I feel like that way.
Please, yes.
So,
I already feel a little bit better.
But so if you listen to us on Spotify, I kind of looked, and I think it's pretty simple. I think it's right there on the episode. You can just go and find the poll. Mm-hmm. It's right there. The first one we did, though, was the poll was, do you want a couple of horror movie review episodes on top of the regular episodes this month? No one voted, so I don't think anybody even knows, because this was a brand new feature. And then the question was, do you have a preference between newer, more modern stories, or older true crime stories that may have gotten lost over time?
Uh-huh.
No one answered that. If you're listening to this, though, I would like an answer to that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do it on Spotify. You can leave us a comment. But what do you
around
prefer?
The brick, throw it through the window.
Stab us.
Stab us. Stab us in a pattern that spells out the answer.
Yeah, like, do you guys, so, like, everybody listening, would you prefer us
I like the real crime. I'd like to do another one.
Like, like the real, we'll definitely do more of the real crime stuff. But, like, do you prefer to hear, like, the newer, like, more, current true crime type stuff, or do you like the older true crime stuff that, may have got lost?
But if it's lost, how are we going to find it?
I'll dig.
Oh, you'll dig?
I'll dig.
Okay. Dig through the ditches and burn through the
so then we did the Real Crimes episode about the Camp Crystal Lake murders.
Yeah.
Which, so the famous sound from the Friday the 13th movies? Do you know what that's actually saying?
Yeah, it's help mommy or something like that.
It's supposedly kill, 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 mom,
Yeah.
I never knew that. I always thought it was just like...
Yeah, the sound engineer, like, because he like, how the mom talks to herself, like, in Jason's voice, she kind of took that, and...
Yeah.
And that's how they wanted you to know that, like, it was the killer watching the kids, because it would always do that when the killer would... And for Halloween, on a sidebar, I was Jason, I set my speakers up, and I had, like, that 3-minute, like, interlude, like, on... repeat playing on my porch. Yeah, like the music, the Friday 13th Jason music. Cool. I scared a bunch of kids. It was really fun. You? Yeah.
That'll show them.
I hope I scarred him for just a long time.
So, our question on that one was: do you think Pamela Voorhees was acting on her own, or was Jason a co-conspirator?
Yeah.
No one answered. But we did do a poll on that one, and the poll is: who is the true horror icon? Options: Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jigsaw, Pinhead, Leatherface.
Yeah.
You clearly would go
Jason.
And
they're all icons, but...
Jason won.
Good.
With 2 votes.
Good.
So, both votes, 100% of the votes went to Jason.
That's a landslide.
Exorcism of LaToya Ammon's episode. We asked, do you believe in demons? We had one person answer emphatically yes.
Yo.
So one person out there is just constantly... looking around for demons, I think. They're terrified. Then, lastly, the last episode we have, favorite trick-or-treat candy. The options were Snickers, Reese's Cups, Skittles, Starburst, Sour Patch Kids. What would you do?
I'd do Smarties. I like the little
Well, I mean, I meant of the 5.
Okay. Skittles, then.
Skittles?
Yeah.
So, Snickers, Reese's Cups, and Skittles all got 1 vote.
All right.
Which, I'm kind of surprised. I thought more people would go for... Sour Patch Kids. That seems like the thing a lot of people like. But
Skittles.
So yeah, you guys look out for that on like this episode. The question we already know the question for this one.
Yeah.
Is Joel a good boy? So you will have two options. There'll be yes and yes.
Yes, or definitely yes.
But then we may also add a Q&A question to where we'll ask you just like your feedback or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out.
Tell us what you want to hear.
Anchor and Spotify are adding new features all the time. So check that stuff out. If you are listening on Apple Podcast, go ahead and leave us a review. Give us a 5-star rating because that would be awesome, and it helps the analytics and the algorithm.
Yeah,
and a bunch of things that I don't understand. I just know that.
And if you don't understand it, there's no chance I understand it.
I just know that we need more. We want to grow this.
We need more listens. People, I feel like we're halfway decent.
But all right, let's do an ad break.
Okay.
We'll be right back, and we'll get into this week's story, which is the story of Dr. Satan.
Oh, it wasn't about the Taken thing? I thought that was the story. It was a quick one.
No, that was just a little...
There's more.
That was just a little news clipping.
Well, stick around!
No, we're going to get into the story of Dr. Satan.
Okay. Dr. Satan!
All right. So, like I said, today's episode is all about Dr. Satan. This one's going to be fun because I get to use a French accent quite a bit. So, this should be interesting. We'll see how this goes.
So this is like the Rob Zombie House of 1,000 Corpse, Dr. Satan?
No. I don't know if Rob Zombie knows about this guy, and that's why he named him after that, or if there was another inspiration for that Dr. Satan. But no, this is about...
Can you like splice in Chris, what's that guy's name? Chris Head?
He hosts everything.
Yeah. We'll just splice in where he goes, Dr. Satan!
Yeah. Let me see.
Hardwick?
Chris Hardwick.
Yeah.
Dr. Satan inspiration. Yeah, this is... Okay, so this is the influence for that character.
Good movie.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I love House of 1,000 Corpses. So this is about Marcel, André, Henri, Félix, Petiot.
That's too many names.
Yeah, he's got
whittle that shit
5
down.
names.
You need 2.
So we're going to call him...
Fuck a middle name.
Dr. Petiot.
Okay.
He was born on January 17th, 1897. So we're
a
going
while
back
ago.
a ways.
Okay.
In the town of Auxerre, in the winemaking county of Burgundy. He was his parents' first child, and for 12 years, until the birth of his brother Maurice, he remained the only one. Félix and Clémence Petiot were both postal workers. She sorted the mail and laid telephone line, and he laid telephone lines and installed telephone exchanges. Imagine how much of a pain in the ass it used to be to call somebody.
Yeah.
Where you had to call
the operator,
and then an operator put you through.
And then the operator probably listened to your calls.
Oh, definitely.
I would. If I was the operator, but what are these motherfuckers going to talk about?
His work often took him away from home, a 3-story terrace house at number 100 Rue de Paris, Auxerre's main street. When Marcel, a beautiful, bright, lovable, loving child with wavy black hair and black eyes, which I think right there is the first sign, throw that baby away. It's got black eyes.
Yeah.
So we don't need that around.
No.
When he was 2, Clémence decided that she wanted to accompany her husband on his trips. The boy was therefore sent to live with Clémence's elder sister, Henriette Bourdon. Bourdon was a spinster, and she shared a home with Marie Gaston, also a spinster and described as Bourdon's maid. Lover is what I would say, probably more than likely. But yeah, so this kid's already
cleaned up his loads.
At 2 years old, just like thrown to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know? The two women knew nothing about bringing up a child, especially not one as lively and inquisitive as Marcel turned out to be. Over the years, they would tell stories about him. They said he sulked, he threw tantrums, he pulled their hair, he bit them, he trampled on the flowers in the garden, he impaled insects on knitting needles, he imprisoned tiny birds and did not feed them so that he could watch them die of starvation. Though some days he did let a bird go free, but not before he had stuck pins into its eyes to blind it.
Oh.
So...
Just a great kid.
You know, again, black eyes, all of this.
Yeah.
Throw him in a river. Don't need that kid.
No. Too many names.
He also smothered his cat after he had unsuccessfully tried to drown it in boiling water.
Jesus.
They also said that he was incontinent of both the bladder and bowel. So he's just like shitting and pissing himself.
Shitting everywhere.
Fucking with animals.
Yeah.
Doing awful things. Later in life, as an adult, Petiot had things to say about the two spinsters as well. He said that whenever they thought he had been naughty, they dragged him off to early morning mass, and they kept the garden gate locked at all times. Those early morning masses would turn him into an atheist. When the prison chaplain offered him the last rites on the morning of his execution, oh, by the way, he gets executed.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
He doesn't turn it around?
He turned it down with the words, "No, thank you, I am an infidel." As for the locked gate, he never locked a door, or at least he only ever locked one door, the front door of the Paris townhouse where he murdered his unsuspecting victims.
That makes me think of the Friday After Next, where the guy's like, "I told you I don't like locked doors." Okay.
I haven't seen Friday After Next in
it's
so
like
long.
a Mexican Spanish guy. So that's why it was the awful accent. I apologize. I'm still a good boy, okay? It's from a movie. That's just what it made me think of.
Okay.
All right.
So Petiot had his first brush with the law at the age of 17, 2 years after his mother died of cancer at age 36. He was caught stealing letters from mailboxes. He'd made kind of a fishing rod, a stick with the glue at one end, and he would nab the letters with it. So,
That seems like you have to still get close. They just reach in there
probably
and grab
easier
that
to run
shit.
over, grab it real quick.
Yeah.
Police thought he was looking for money or money orders that he could cash. A child psychologist examined him and diagnosed hereditary mental problems.
He's 17. Okay, it's a little late for a child psychologist.
Yeah. Felix Petiot, his father, was furious. There is no insanity in the Petiot family, and neither is there in the Bourdon family.
Yeah.
He fumed, defending his son in a backhanded way. So he was like, look, yeah, he may be putting needles in birds' eyes.
If it's crazy to put needles in birds' eyes, then I guess I'm insane too.
And lock us up.
Yeah.
Psychologist's diagnosis of mental problems saved the teenage Petiot from reform school, but as his own school expelled him, he continued to study at home for his bachelorette school leaving diploma. Within 2 years, he received it with the Mark of Honors. Proudly, he announced to his father that he wanted to study medicine. Felix laughed in his son's face. He believed his son would never amount to anything in life. But World War I was raging, and the teenager, who was patriotic, enrolled. Later, he would make certain that everyone understood that he had not waited to be called up like a coward, but that he had enrolled. Petiot's military career was turbulent. He spent most of it, the years from 1915 to 1921, in mental asylums, and he even did a stint in prison for having stolen Army-issued blankets from one of the asylums. His mental problems resurfaced when he was hospitalized for a shrapnel wound.
Was
in
it
his
a
left
cover-up?
foot with the blankets.
Cover? Blankets?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good boy.
I see what happened there.
Sorry.
At the beginning of 1922, Petiot arrived back in Auxerre. He had good news for his family. He was no longer just plain Monsieur Petiot. He was Monsieur le Docteur Petiot.
Oh.
A physician. He did not show them a medical diploma, only a letter from the Paris medical faculty attesting that he had passed his medical thesis with honors. Up to this day, it remains a mystery how he could have studied medicine when he was in and out of mental asylums from 1915 to 1921.
Yeah, the hands-on education.
Yes. Even if he had benefited from the shortened and accelerated study programs, which had been made available to ex-servicemen, it would have still been hard, if not impossible, for him or anyone else to obtain a medical degree in just short of 2 years. In 1919...
But I mean, it was that, how much of medicine they know in 1919.
Right. Plus,
like you're born, you're dead. You know that, you're a doctor.
I can't imagine it would have been too difficult to fake documents like that back then.
Yeah. I mean, if you can drown a cat in boiling water, you can fake a medical
And if you can
document.
rig up a fishing pole to take... you can fake a document, no problem.
That's some Dennis the Menace shit right there.
In 1919, he had still been in the Army. In 1920, he'd been institutionalized in a mental asylum in the town of Orleans. Yet, if he was to be believed, in December 1921, he was a medical graduate. All right.
Turn it around. He's a good boy.
Dr. Petiot, now 26, opened a practice in the village of Villeneuve-sur-Yonne, which is basically just saying that it's Villeneuve on the Yonne River.
Okay.
I don't know why they gotta get all fancy with it.
Because it's French, man. You can't just...
You
gotta French it up.
In 1923, it was home to 2,000 rural people who lived in centuries-old stone houses. With his dark hair, dark eyes, and a beauty spot on his right cheek, he was a good-looking man. Such looks, he actually kind of looked like Johnny Depp,
made
him an instant success in the village. He also quickly earned the reputation of being a brilliant doctor. His patients said that he knew what was wrong with them before they had even described their symptoms. He would say, "You were treated by a stupid ass before, but you don't have to say another word, as I know exactly what is ailing you."
I've stolen your mail.
I've stolen your mail. I've read it. Within days, a patient would feel better. One such patient was Frascalt. Owner of the local bistro. Frascalt suffered from rheumatoid arthritis. He said that for the first time in years, he was able to walk upright again after seeing Petiot.
I bet he was just giving everyone cocaine.
That's my guess, actually.
Yeah. Like back then, that was like the answer. Like, here, take a little bit of coke.
Yeah. Petiot took a lover, Louise Delavue. She told a friend in the village that she was pregnant, but that Petiot wanted to perform an abortion on her. Louise disappeared mysteriously.
Huh.
When the headless body of a woman was fished from the Yonne River, the villagers said it was Delavue's body and that Petiot had done her in. The local members of the militarized police, though, who are responsible for policing countryside areas, did not investigate. They said that there was just not enough evidence.
That's a lot of work.
Look,
I mean, a lot of work.
Nobody's came and said that they did it, so that's we don't have the evidence for this. Despite the rumors of murdering his lover, he ran a successful campaign for mayor. Once in the town hall, he decided that he needed a wife. He found her, the 23-year-old petite, elegant Georgette Lablace. I don't know how you say it.
Blah, blah, blah,
blah, blah, blah.
It's the same with all you broads.
Her father, Georges, was a successful Paris restaurateur nicknamed Long Arm, which I really hope which they explain why.
Yeah.
But I really would rather imagine that he just has one real long arm, like down to his
or
knees.
maybe one really short arm, so they don't want to draw attention to that. So they're like, that arm's not short.
It'd be mean to say.
Yeah, the glass isn't half full. You have one long arm.
I'm gonna start saying that. I'm more of a one long arm kind of guy.
Like one of the animatronics at the show Friday had the guy with the little.
Yeah,
he didn't have one little arm. He had one long arm.
One big arm.
Yeah. It happens.
So basically, he was called Long Arm because there was a saying called where you would say my arm is long, and it means that you have clout. I don't know why.
Oh, you have a lot of reach.
There you go.
Yeah,
look at you.
I get it.
Look at you solving French.
Solve this case.
So 10 months after Petiot,
they call me Long Leg. Because my little dick makes my legs look long.
Yeah. Like daddy long legs.
Ladies.
10 months.
My little button dick. Boop. You don't have to touch it. I know it's out, but come on. Just ignore it.
Oh, I didn't know. I couldn't tell. So 10 months after Petiot met Georgette, on April 19th, 1928, the couple's only child, Gerhard Claude Georges Félix, again,
they're just wasting
four names, was born. Then one night, a fire broke out at a local dairy. On the premises lived the owners, the Debouves. When flames were first seen shooting from the roof of the couple's home, Monsieur Debouve was having a drink at Frascalt's Bistro. Henriette.
All his names are funny to me. I just can't help it. I'm such a West Virginia hillbilly.
Henriette, the wife of Monsieur Debouve, was home cooking dinner. When firefighters entered the burning house, they found her lifeless body lying on the kitchen floor.
Oh.
She had obviously been murdered. Her head was bashed in. Again, the local police did not believe that he could successfully investigate this murder.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in himself.
He didn't see anyone there. He's like, I don't know. It is 1919.
Then all of a sudden, Frascott, who was the bistro, he died suddenly. He collapsed after Petiot had given him a shot for a reoccurring bout of his rheumatoid arthritis.
Was it a shot to the heart?
Did
he feel pain?
He's to blame.
Yeah. He gave love a bad name.
Frascott had told his patrons that he knew who had bashed Henriette Debouve her head in. It was Dr. Petiot. According to Frascott, the doctor and Henriette had been lovers. In 1933, the three Petiots moved to Paris. The doctor left a string of accusations and court appearances on charges of theft behind in the former hometown. He'd been stealing from the town hall's coffers. In Paris, he quickly built up a prosperous practice, however. He had made certain that it would be so. On his arrival in the capital, he had distributed leaflets in which he made the most incredible claims. He advertised a fleet of ambulances and every modern item of medical equipment one could think of. He said he could cure all mental illnesses. He could cure cancer. He had a revolutionary treatment for all gynecological and drug problems.
Oh.
His treatment for gynecological ills was abortion.
Oh, okay.
His treatment for drug addiction was to give the user whatever drug they craved.
Oh, okay.
Kind of the old smoke the whole pack of cigarettes.
That's why they killed him. They couldn't have someone out there like that.
With his waiting room each day filled with patients in search of treatments, he soon was able to afford to invest in real estate. He even bought an entire apartment building where he had 21 tenants. So really, I mean, he's basically a modern pharmacist, or drug salesman. Like, it's not that much different from the people that go around selling Oxycontin and shit. Like, hey, we got this shit that you really like. It'll fuck you up forever, probably. But
you'll probably get addicted to it and ruin your life.
Yeah,
but, man,
they're all drug dealers.
You'll feel good.
So in September 1939, France and Britain declared war on Nazi Germany. Don't know if you ever heard of World War II or not, but that was happening.
I don't know much about the first one, so I didn't want to get into the second one, because I was afraid I couldn't follow it.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get lost.
Yeah.
The French government had fled. Hitler annexed that part of France that bordered Germany and handed the area bordering Italy over to Benito Mussolini, his ally in Rome, while he divided what was left of the country into a northern occupied zone and a southern, theoretically free zone named Vichy, France, after the new capital, the spa town, Vichy. The northern zone, Spaghetti, which included Paris, became known as occupied France. The defeated French army was reduced to peacekeeping under German control, and the police abandoned their whatever to take orders from the Gestapo. In fact, the entire French legal machine abandoned its to swear allegiance to Hitler. While many Parisians fled the city and its new rulers, the Petiots remained behind. The doctor was anti-German, but because of his World War I injury, he would not be mobilized to fight. He told his family that he would never let them suffer because of the war. He would provide for them. He'd already had a bike, and now he bought a cart. So he had a bunch of ambulances, is what he said, but he actually just had a bike and a cart. Gasoline was being rationed, and a man needed a cart to get his black market purchases home. He also bought a large townhouse in Paris's elegant 16th section, the Champs-Élysées, a stone's throw away. Real estate had become bargain buys because those fleeing needed cash. Yeah, I guess that would be a real...
Yeah, buyer's market.
Yeah. That the house at number 21 Rue Les Sires was quite dilapidated. It had stood uninhabited for a few years. Did not bother him. He could afford to have renovations work done. The renovation work consisted of adding several feet to the property's back wall, converting an outhouse into a doctor's surgery room, and transforming another outhouse into a small triangular chamber. He asked the builders he had hired to do the work to cover one of the chamber walls with a fake padded door. Nothing...
Oh, yeah.
Weird about that.
No.
To fasten large metal rings to a second wall.
Okay.
And to insert a glass peephole in the third.
Normal
totally
stuff.
Normal.
Yeah, doctor things.
Doctor stuff.
I don't get it. I'm not a doctor.
Look, we're just builders of things.
Yeah.
You doctors, you do you.
I mean, you got like 6 names. You got to know what you're talking about.
He planned to open a mental asylum, was the explanation he gave for the strange requests. As he would be giving electroshock treatment, he explained further the padded door was necessary to soundproof the room or the cries of his patients would disturb the neighbors.
You don't want that.
The rings were for hanging equipment, and he needed to make sure that nothing went wrong during the treatments, so that way he could see through.
Oh.
All makes sense. All checks out. Georgette Petiot did not like the idea of her husband opening a mental clinic, which he really wasn't, though. So, he had, as she told him, enough work as it was. If you do, Gerhardt and I will never see you, she said. She loved her husband dearly.
And he's like, that's the idea, wink.
So Petiot did...
Basically, this is the first man cave.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a real weird one.
Yeah.
Which they're all pretty weird.
More like a manic cave, huh?
Huh?
I'm a good boy.
Oh, I wish I had a cigar. So Petiot did not open the mental clinic. The townhouse was to serve another purpose. One March night in 1944, the Paris police would start to unravel what exactly Petiot had been up to since he had bought the townhouse back in October 1941. On that night, it was March 11th, a Saturday, neighbors had called police to the Rue Le Cire because for 5 days a foul smoke had been pouring from the townhouse's chimney. 2 patrolmen and some firefighters entered the house through a ground floor window. What they found at the house was beyond belief. Human remains were being incinerated in an old water boiler in the basement room. In the triangular room at the back of the property, they found more human remains being devoured in a pit filled with quicklime. L'affaire Petiot, the Petiot case, had begun. Leading it was Commissioner Georges Victor Massou, chief of the Paris Criminal Police, based at number 36. Good Lord, what is this? Quai de Orfèvre. Orfèvre. I don't know how you say that. Orfèvre.
Are you having a stroke?
I'm trying to
Are
read.
you okay?
Trying to read these weird letters.
Okay.
Orfevres. Orfèvre. I think that's how you do it.
That's it.
Orfèvre.
He did it.
Also known as the Quai.
Just say that. Yeah.
But Petiot was on the run. So was Georgette Petiot.
Oh.
But she was arrested within days, hiding out in Auxerre. Marcel is the most kind, loving husband, father, and doctor, she had told investigators. He could never, she said, have killed anyone.
No.
Not him. Not my Marcel. Petiot was to remain on the run for 7 months. He laid low with a past acquaintance, who was a house painter, a very gullible man, who believed that Petiot was a brave resistance hero and French patriot. Over the 7 months, the commissioner would hear of how a man had been visiting the uninhabited townhouse for the previous 2 years. This man had come to the house either on foot or on a green bike. On some of the days when he was on foot, he had brought other people with him. Those people had never been seen again. They must
maybe just stay at the townhouse for a little bit. I mean...
They must, though, have stayed on at the house because noises had come from it. That's what the guy was saying. Like, well, yeah, we brought them there and they never left, but they must have stayed there because...
Yeah. We heard stuff.
Strange noises were happening. Crying, banging. One night, a neighbor walking past the house after the nighttime curfew had already sounded, even heard a man's voice calling out. Just one word, help.
Help.
The man on the green bike was Dr. Marcel.
That's the hardest thing to ask for sometimes.
That is
help.
That's the hardest thing. Just hey.
I mean, you really have to, like, you got to belittle yourself a lot to ask for help.
You got to really, just give up your pride.
Yep.
Help!
I need somebody.
So who the fuck is this calling?
So the man on the green bike was Dr. Marcel Petiot. He was invariably described by his cronies, his patients, his wife and family as a respected, loving, kind, wonderful husband, father, and family physician, and totally innocent of the crimes that he was being accused of. The story of Dr. Marcel Petiot's life and crimes that Massou was to put together chilled him and everyone else to the bone. Petiot, a poor man's son, craved wealth, and respectability. He believed that respectability was wealth's natural companion.
Yeah.
He'd already made a pretty packet from doing abortions and supplying drugs, but once the Germans had occupied Paris, he hit on the idea of pretending that he was a member of the French resistance and that he could assist people to flee France. He would charge them quite a bit, actually. He would also tell them to bring along whatever they had that was valuable, gold, jewels, fur coats, anything.
I'm sure people are desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
That way they would be able to set themselves up in the new country, in their new home, Argentina. They would, though, be going nowhere. But only he would know that. Only he would know that he offered that the escape route that he offered would begin and end at his townhouse. It was an idea, a plan he just knew would make him a wealthy man. He claimed his resistance his name was Dr. Eugene, and he headed a resistance cell code named Fly Talks. So he made up this whole bullshit story about he was going to, he was a freedom fighter, basically.
Help these people get away from the war, start a new life.
Yeah. So, hey, bring all your good shit with you.
Really taking advantage.
Yeah. So his first victim was a Polish-born Jewish furrier, which was his neighbor at a family apartment. His takings came to hundreds of thousands of francs in cash.
Yeah, I knew that.
Several items of extremely expensive jewelry and 3 mink pelts. So easy was it to make so much money so rapidly that he told 2 of his cronies, a certain Raoul Ferrier, which was a barber, and Edmond Pentard, an out-of-work cabaret singer, of the escape route. Basically, he let them know because he asked them to send him clients.
It's good to have cronies.
He just wanted to know, hey, can you send me some people?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, of course.
Make sure they got money.
Yeah. So they went out and became his recruiting agents. He handed a percentage, a small one, of the fee that he charged the clients over to the 2. Now, I don't know if this gets answered or not, but I don't know if they knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
They might have thought
he actually
was helping these people.
They are cronies, so they're not very smart.
He started enlisting other recruitment agents as well. Irene Khan, a vivacious Romanian-born woman. Fourier and Pentard sent Petiot, gangsters and their moles, all Gestapo informers, but as scared of the Germans as any other Parisian. Khan sent him Jews that were desperate to get away from the Nazis. She was Jewish herself. She defiantly refused to wear the Yellow Star of David. So yeah, he's got 3 people just sending him victims. His killing spree abruptly ended in May 1943, 10 months before the discovery of the human remains at his townhouse. It ended because Robert Yodkom, who was with the Jewish Affairs Department of the Gestapo, had learned from an informer that Dr. Eugene was assisting people to flee from France. The informer also knew of Fourier and Pentard and led the Gestapo to Fourier's barbershop. It was at the barbershop that Petiot collected the victims to escort them to the townhouse. Once the 2 cronies were arrested, they quickly revealed the true identity of Dr. Eugene, and Petiot was arrested as well. The 3 were held for 7 months at a prison south of Paris before they were released without charge.
So why didn't they check the townhouse in those 7 months? He said he stopped killing people, and then it was 10 months before they discovered the bodies there.
Yeah.
So they arrest them, but they don't check
the place where they were. Yeah. Well, then that's what I don't understand.
That's a lot of work.
They held him for 7 months.
Yeah.
And they just release him.
Yeah.
So
maybe go look for some evidence.
But Maurice Petiot had bribed the Gestapo guy. He bribed him to let Marcel go. Maurice was Marcel's brother. But it didn't matter for the other 2. They just let them go. They were basically considered useless lowlifes. So they were just like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. On his release in February 1944, Petiot faced the task of cleaning up his townhouse. The Gestapo had tortured him, yet he had not broken down to admitting running an escape route, and neither had he revealed the existence of the townhouse. So apparently they just didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. So I can't believe the 2 crony guys didn't tell them all.
Yeah.
But they just apparently didn't know about the townhouse.
They
only knew about the...
they knew what they needed to know.
As far as cleaning up was concerned, he had a willing assistant, his brother Maurice, who even supplied the quicklime. Maurice had been to the townhouse while the Gestapo was holding Dr. Petiot and had come across the bodies. Ashen in the face and unable to keep his discovery to himself, he had told a mutual friend that bodies as black as the Black Plague were at his brother's house. His friend was shaking like a leaf in a strong wind, also passed the terrible news on, telling his girlfriend and the girlfriend's friend. He had, as he later told the commissioner, even told Petiot's wife, Georgette, that her husband was killing people, informing the commissioner that she had fainted 3 times while listening to him.
Ooh.
So basically everyone that finds out about this tells everybody
else.
Petiot was arrested on the last day of October that year of 1944. Paris had been liberated in August, and the Germans had fled.
Vive la France!
Soon as firing had broken out in the capital, Petiot had left his hideout and joined the French forces of the interior. as the reconstructed French army was called, with false identity papers in the name of Dr. Henri Valéry. He was therefore arrested wearing the black armband of a French Force of the Interior fighter. The arrest was made by a fellow fighter. Ironically, the man was himself hiding out in the French Forces of the Interior under a false name, and would soon make a run for it afterwards. So yeah, he's the dude. Petiot almost got away with all of this. There was another irony about his arrest. The commissioner was not the one to actually handcuff Petiot because the commissioner himself was under arrest. He had been arrested on suspicion of having been a German collaborator. It was said that he had deliberately gone slow in his investigation of Petiot as instructed by the Gestapo. That charge was later dropped, but not before an indignant commissioner had tried to commit suicide by slashing his left wrist.
Well, sure, because he's probably just killing Jewish people. I mean,
yeah.
He's trying to kill Jews. They're trying to get out, so they didn't care.
Petiot's interrogation lasted 11 months. During the first 9 months, he stuck to his claim that he was a resistant and that the cell of which he'd been the head had executed Germans and French collaborators. They were all bastards. They deserved what they got, he would say. For the last 2 months, he refused to reply to questions. On the first day of his silence, he told the examining magistrate that he would not be answering any further questions, and from then on, his reply was always only ditto. How many he had killed, how much money he had made out of his victims, indeed, how he had killed them were therefore to remain a mystery, and it remains a mystery to this day. The police and pathologists did, though, think that the most likely scenario was that he had first drugged his victims, then he dictated letters they had to write to their families and friends to announce their safe arrival in Argentina. Next, he'd probably given them another shot of some lethal substance, and then let them decompose, burned them, put them in quicklime, and made it impossible to tell who anybody was.
Yeah.
But he also sounds like he probably also tortured them. The police did not, however, even try to establish how much Petiot had made from his victims. Journalists, though, estimated the amount to be millions of francs. Georgette and Gerhardt had been ordered to pay 172,000 current dollars worth of francs restitution to the families of the victims. They paid only a fraction of this amount, and after 7 years, the families, not having claimed the money, lost their right to it. George and Gerhardt had left France soon after Dr. Petiot's death.
Which I'm sure she didn't have a lot of money after he was arrested and shit. I mean,
having listened to the death sentence being pronounced without even blinking an eye, Petiot spent his final weeks doing embroidery, knitting, and reading. He'd been an avid reader since his youth. He read mainly about murder and murderers. He also wrote a book. It was called Chance Defeated. It was about beating chance and winning at games like poker, yet he also philosophized in it. I think that's how you say that word. He wrote, "Not one of all the creations is happy with its lot. The stone is sad thinking of the oak, which grows in the sun. The oak is sad when it thinks of the animals that it sees running in the shade of the woods. The animals are sad, dreaming of the eagle soaring in the sky. And man is unhappy because he cannot understand why he's been put here. He is aware of all of his imperfections."
Fuck.
So, I mean, yeah, sure, the guy's a fucking lunatic and a murderer, but
he gets it.
Damn, he can write.
He gets it.
Georgette had the book printed in its handwritten form, and Petiot took great pride in autographing it for those who had gone to assist at his trial. The book was an instant bestseller. It was a long walk for Petiot from his cell to the guillotine. He was handcuffed and his legs were in chains. That's how he also had passed his nights in jail. The guillotine did not work swiftly and expertly. Dr. Albert Paul had to step up to Dr. Petiot's headless body, though, as tradition demanded, to announce him dead. Petiot's cronies, he had 11.
Jesus.
Had been arrested, including Georgette and Maurice, but they were not prosecuted.
Ocean's 11.
The police concluded they had not known what Petiot was actually up to. They had thought that the escape route was genuine.
Yeah.
All but Maurice had found a charge of receiving stolen property. Maurice had been charged with complicity to murder and had faced capital punishment. He was released because he was dying of stomach cancer, though. He died shortly after his brother had been guillotined. Asked in the minutes before his neck was shaved in preparation for the guillotine's blow, whether he had...
He shaved his neck?
Yeah.
Like, was that going to stop the blade or something?
Maybe he
has... Like, we don't want it to hurt. Like, it's really going to hurt if he's got hair there.
Maybe he has some real thick hair.
Yeah.
So they asked him if he
Like,
had
it would
anything
never
to
make it through yours. Your beard would block that
My
blade.
beard would.
Well, no, I guess I get through the back, though.
I got a thick neck, too.
I guess I get through the back, so
Yeah, I
would think.
I got a thick neck, though. So
You do.
they're going to have to sharpen that thing up.
Hell yeah.
They asked him if he had anything to say. He said, "No, I am one traveler who's taking all his baggage with him." So before he actually went on to be guillotined, in his last few minutes, he told everybody that was there, "Don't look. This is not going to be pretty." So he warned people.
I've cut off a lot of heads. You do not want to see this.
So a lot of some of the men on the prosecution team decided to call him Dr. Satan, and then the media followed that and called him the same thing. That's how he became known as Dr. Satan. On May 25th, 1946, it was a Saturday morning, he was 49 years old, stood trial for the 27 people is what they ended up charging him with. He was found guilty of 26 of those. But the police think that he murdered many, many more.
Sure.
They say that probably 200.
Wow.
One of the investigators said that they'd settle for 150.
Yeah.
But they
Talking
figure
to the 11 cronies, the cronies probably know like how many people they sent there to them. Have a good idea anyway, an estimation.
As required by French law, on the opening morning of the trial, the judge who was to preside over the proceedings had confronted Petiot in the chamber. "You are going to be tried for the premeditated assassination of 27 people. If you are found guilty, you will be executed by guillotine." "Not 27, Petiot had replied, arrogance in his voice. "I liquidated 63 persons, but all were enemies of France." The judge then said, "Very well, but we will start with 27, and the verdict may do for the others as well." Whether he killed 26, 27, 63, 150, or 200 or more, he holds the title, if title is the word, of France's most prolific murderer. How he had killed his victims, the police and pathologists had been unable to establish, but they had thought that after their deaths, he had decapitated them before he had cut off their limbs, in a very skillful manner, though. So, at least he was...
Well, that's how they found, like, the people that they thought he killed before,
right.
was he would decapitate them. So, I mean, it would...
He would sever their heads from the body, and then he would cut away the eyebrows, the lips, and the ears. He would disembowel the bodies, and then finally he tried to get rid of them with fire and lime. So yeah, that is the story of Dr. Satan. I mean, right from the get-go, like, again, he's a kid. He's sticking needles in birds' eyes to blind them if he's going to let them go. Torturing animals, has black eyes.
I bet he peed the bed.
Well, they said he was incontinent.
Yeah. Okay.
He was basically
a
pissing
lot of
shit
serial
himself.
killers pissed the bed, tortured animals.
So he fit all, which I guess back then they wouldn't have really had. That's not a thing they would have known about anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so
Dr. Satan.
real fucked up. Reminds me of H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
Having kind of like
His
a little murder
mansion
house.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Real piece of shit.
Made for a very cool character though in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, I don't understand how they go from, Rob Zombie definitely took liberties with that.
Oh yeah, just a bit. Yeah, he's like, I really like the name.
Was there any clowns around for this guy? Let's put a clown in there.
Maybe the cronies were the family.
Yeah.
They've just been around forever.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same thing. Instead of a barbershop, you would go to the tour, the haunted house tour, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that now.
All right. Well, so you said you found.
I have a story that I cut out of the newspaper. It's not a feel good because fuck a feel good.
Right.
We've established that.
Yeah.
Before we went live to air.
Yeah, we're not gonna. No reason to even try to feel good. Tonight.
Fuck a feel good.
And
so this is a story, and when I read this, I was like, wow, this is the most West Virginia thing ever. So next time anyone ever asks you what it's like to be from West Virginia, you can just read this story.
And is this like a current?
This is current, yes. Okay. This was in yesterday's paper. Okay. The headline, Police, grown man beaten to death with leaf blower.
Yep.
This is in Looneyville,
of course,
West Virginia. A dropped pig led to the murder of a Roane County man by means of a leaf blower last month. It always starts with a dropped pig.
A dropped pig?
Witnesses to the incident said Mr. Bush, he's 26 years, he's 26, Looneyville, got into an altercation with William, another guy. I don't know, can I use it's in the paper, sure.
Yeah.
So a guy named Andrew Bush killed a guy named William Greathouse after the two were trying to lift a pig inside of a cage into the bed of a truck. The cage fell to the ground, and after the man started fighting, Bush struck him in the head with the leaf blower, according to the criminal complaint. And they said Greathouse, the writing of this story is so awful. Greathouse was found unconscious in the bed of the truck, and law enforcement noticed he was still unconscious. What? I'll read that again. This is how it is in the paper. Greathouse was found unconscious in the bed of the truck, and law enforcement noticed he was still unconscious, not breathing, and began to turn blue in the face and the hands. Like, how about do something? They're like, let's see where this goes.
Let's just see if he stays unconscious.
So he started turning blue in the face and the hands. The victim also had an obvious indentation in his forehead and a small open laceration, the complaint said. After the altercation, the complaint said Bush returned to his cabin, and Greathouse laid down in the bed of the truck and began to feel his head and went unconscious.
Feeling kind of woozy.
When he was questioned, Bush claimed Greathouse cursed at him and threatened him before Bush punched him in the face hard enough to knock his glasses off. Well, first off, you don't punch a man with glasses. Greathouse allegedly hit back, and then Bush said he got away. He picked up the leaf blower, and he swung it while holding on to the plastic tube. So he hit him with, like, the engine portion. I mean, those things can be pretty heavy.
Heavy section, yeah.
Bush said he hit Greathouse in the head, and he said he was mad and felt like he wanted to hurt him, Greathouse. Bush wanted to hurt Greathouse. Maybe don't say that to the cops. If you accidentally, in a fit of rage, kill a friend, don't say you were wanting to hurt him.
Right.
He then said he was sorry for what he did, and that hitting Greathouse with the leaf blower was too excessive. So he was arrested. Now he's facing 10 to 40 years in prison.
Should have just turned it on and, like, blew it out.
Get away from me!
He's facing how many?
First, 10 to 40 years.
And he did, so the guy died.
Yeah, he died.
Okay, so he
did
murder him.
Yep. With a leaf blower. In Looneyville.
In Looneyville, West Virginia.
After they dropped a pig.
What the fuck?
And that's West Virginia.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to drop a pig in West Virginia.
No.
It's going to lead to bad things.
It's going to lead to an argument.
And
this guy's happened to have a leaf blower in the back of his truck.
I mean,
picked it up and swung it at him.
Like, Florida man gets a lot of attention.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too. Like, West Virginia man's on the come up.
West Virginia man, I think West Virginia man does a good job of the headlines stay, like, you got to look for them.
Yeah.
Florida man, everybody knows now. It's a funny thing. But I think West Virginia man, if you really dug into it,
we're practically Florida.
Toe to toe.
Yeah.
I think we could go up against Florida man.
Yeah. I dare you to find a story in Florida of a man beaten to death with a leaf blower.
Yeah, they don't need leaf blowers down there.
They don't?
I don't think they get a lot of leaves.
Yeah. I guess it's pine trees and stuff, palm trees.
Yeah, they'd be like beaten to death with like a, I don't know.
But look at the picture, too, of this guy in the paper. He's like smiling. Like, we don't know if you can post that or not, but he's 26 now. He killed a man with a leaf blower, and he's going to go to jail.
Yeah, I can post it.
But that was it's not a feel good, but I just saw it, and I was like, we got to talk about that.
I'm sorry for what I did.
He should have dropped my pig.
Now, look, I agree. The leaf blower was a bit excessive. I am sorry. But he dropped the goddamn pig.
He dropped the pig.
I'm looking for the part where it says, he was found unconscious in the bed of the truck, and law enforcement noticed he was still unconscious, not breathing. I mean, what does that even mean?
That's good police work.
We found him unconscious, and then we did quickly notice he was still unconscious. Yeah. So, you know,
he wasn't faking.
We put 2 and 2 together there, and we determined that he was unconscious. So he wasn't.
And there was witnesses too. Like, how about you help these guys with the caged pig? Maybe it wouldn't fall. Maybe they wouldn't be fighting over it.
Yeah. So we'll post this story on our Facebook.
But that was in the local paper. I read that at work, and
that is definitely. Here's how. Here's what.
Yep.
All right. Well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back next week with a new episode. Let us know what you think of. Like again, do you want more modern stuff, older stuff? What do you want? We'll come back soon with another real crimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, do the whole rating thing.
Give us a movie you want a real crime
Give us
about.
a movie. Look for on Spotify again. Look for the polls and the Q&A stuff.
Look for my poll.
Look for Joel's poll.
That rhymed.
Joel's polls. Joel's polls. Everybody loves a Joel's poll.
Not everybody.
Wah, wah. All right. Until next time. Thanks for listening, and we will see you later.
I'm a good boy.